Dear learners, welcome to this MOOC on Sociology of Health and Illness. Now we will discuss the Unit 34 of the Module 11 of the course Sociology of Health and Illness. In this unit, we will discuss about the different methods used by social workers in the mental health settings. In India, social workers in the mental health settings have been practicing since 1937, when the first social worker was appointed in the Child Guidance Clinic in Bombay. From then on, slowly and gradually, the profession was established and psychiatric social workers were recognized. Clinical functions were related directly to treatment of patients, while non-clinical functions included activities which did not have a direct bearing on the treatment of the patients but were preventive, educational, and rehabilitative in nature. Social workers in the mental health settings perform many roles, which includes clinical work like social history taking, interpreting hospital and clinical facilities to parents, patients, and family members, individualized work with dysfunctional patients and with their families, referral services, follow-up, record keeping, group work or group therapy, public education and awareness, and much more. So, except for prescribing drugs and conducting psychological tests, they perform varied functions in the psychiatric settings. A mental health setting can be public or private mental hospital, psychiatric unit, psychiatric department of general hospital, private clinics, dedication or detoxification centers, etc. Now we will discuss the application of some of the primary methods of social work in psychiatric settings briefly. First of all, casework. Casework is one of the primary methods of social work that is focused on working with individuals to enable them to cope with their problems effectively. This is predominantly applied in mental health settings. The caseworker practitioner, mostly referred to as psychiatric social worker, also has other designations such as case manager, counselor, social worker, etc., depending on the institution where they practice. The caseworker, either individually or as a part of the multidisciplinary team collaborating with other professionals, perform different functions to provide psychosocial support to the client. During the COVID pandemic, most of the casework services were offered online, which is also known as telecounseling support. Now let us discuss some of the specific responsibilities in the casework process. First of all, intake. It means to gather facts about the patient, like his or her background, medical insurance details, history of medical and psychiatric treatment, if he or she has had to face any special circumstance, the symptoms, and conduct assessment, mental status examination, etc. The next step is diagnosis. It means to make provisional diagnosis, social investigation, etc. Then comes treatment. Treatment begins on the very first contact and in every interaction with the client. Then in this process, they interpret the social aspects of mental illness to the patient as well as the family. Then they apply therapeutic methods of intervention or different psychotherapies. Then they make treatment plans along with the team. Then they record the progress to formulate a complete case history. And then thus a crisis intervention in the face-to-face mode or through telephone counseling. After treatment, the patient is discharged. At this stage, a social worker involved in the situation is required to plan for successful adjustment of the patient in the family and society, and also explain the importance of medication, follow-up, and assist in reintegration with the community. Then comes documentation. The social worker involved in such situation is also required to prepare reports and case summaries, maintaining all records and forms in case file, record the patient's progress at every stage of treatment. Then comes the home visits. It means to collect more information about the patient's environment and also as a follow-up. Then comes rehabilitation. A social worker associated with the mental health setup are also required to care and follow up and then arrange for placement of the patient involved. Then comes assistance to the family. Counseling the family and also introduce linkage to other resources is also another task of the social workers in such settings. Resources can be in the form of different relevant information, etc. Then finally, to make referrals for other related support. The next method utilized by medical social workers is the social group work. Social group work is another primary method of social work. It is also increasingly practiced in psychiatric settings as an important component in the treatment and the care of mentally ill people. Activities related to group work is undertaken more frequently by social workers working in the psychiatric institutions in India as a primary or secondary activity. The group worker plays a crucial role as an enabler who plans the group activities, organizes and mobilizes group members to participate in it. Group work enhances the social functioning of the members through purposeful group experiences that help them to cope effectively with their personal, group or community problems. Members become more aware of the situation, develop better morale, learn how to deal with their emotions, get influenced by other members in a positive way, and adapt in a better way to their surroundings. Research has shown that there are many benefits where patients with neurotic disorders attend group sessions. It has showed adherence to treatment and improvement in their social skills. Group work sometimes takes the place of diversional therapy in institutions where there are patients living for years together. In psychiatric departments, in patient wards, group work is very important component, mostly with patients of substance abuse disorders. Group work is very effective and productive with the family members of the patients as they derive a lot of support, become more aware of the illness, and learn the skills of handling and dealing with the situation from the group. Child guidance clinics is another important scope where group work is an important tool for both diagnosis and treatment with children and adolescents. However, group sessions should be highly structured where the group worker is in control and plans the activities well in advance, has alternative backup plans if any session is not moving as proposed. have a good understanding of the members, their symptoms and conditions, and how they can contribute to the group. At the same time, they should not induce additional stress to the members by forcing their participation, and should be careful about the anxiety producing events and watch out if one member's hallucination or paranoia is not disturbing others in the group. The next method is community organization. Community organization provides a lot of scope for mental health interventions in the community where social workers can be of immense value. Psychiatric social workers found themselves constrained only to institutional care services predominantly, and community work did not form a part of the work assignment for over 70% of them until the National Mental Health Program was implemented in 1982, laying emphasis on mental health services to be made available in the community. Further, strengthening of this initiative was brought about with the District Mental Health Program launched since 1996. Slowly, the program was extended by each state to provide maximum coverage of all districts. A multidisciplinary team is envisaged for this program for efficient execution, where social workers are crucial members. Some of the specific responsibilities carried out by the psychiatric social workers as a part of this program are: first of all, a social worker is supposed to be the formal as well as informal link with the community, and thereby they need to educate the public and create awareness about mental illness through the district mental health program in district headquarters, taluks and villages. Then they are required to sensitize the voluntary agency personnel about mental health issue and the services to ensure their active participation. Then they are required to orient the school and the college teachers, students about life skill education, adolescent education, mental health education, about early diagnosis and referral. They are also required to facilitate, coordinate and collaborate with the district mental health program along with government and non-governmental sectors for effective delivery of mental health services. And then finally, they are also required to evaluate the community's perception about the district mental health program and devise ways to improve the quality of services. They are also required to act as an agent of community education and community involvement in the district mental health program with the help of media. The social workers are also required to facilitate the quality of psychosocial services in district headquarters, hospitals and other peripheral centers. They are also required to work with other team members to achieve the objective of the district mental health program. A social worker adopting the community organization process thereby identifies the community's mental health needs, the available resources, and also establishes link with the government resources to treat and rehabilitate people with mental illness in the community itself. Also, they are required to take care of the social aspects of the mental health problems, which include preparation of case history, giving insight into the sociological causes of a patient's problem to the psychiatrist, visiting patients at home, rehabilitative measures, and follow-up at the community level. Now we will discuss the skills of a psychiatric social worker. Psychiatric social worker is a social work practiced in psychiatric settings, as we have already discussed, using social work knowledge, skills and methods in dealing with personal and social problems. Here skills play a very crucial role in the entire process of working with the patients individually or in groups or in communities. Skills refer to the practice of components where we apply knowledge and values together to a given situation. A variety of skills are used by the psychiatric social workers. Let us try to know about those. First of all, rapport building skill. It is required to establish a therapeutic relationship with the people one is trying to study. Then observational skills. Observational skills are required to understand the dynamics of the interpersonal relationship of the patient with others. Then interviewing skills. Interviewing skills are required to gather data needed to diagnose the needs of the individuals and the families. Then active listening skills. To grasp what the patients and the family members want to say, one needs to have an active listening skill. Then one needs to have a critical thinking skill, which means to use logic and reasoning to identify the strength and the weaknesses of each solution to the problems. Then comes the communication skills. It involves the ability to effectively communicate both verbally and in written form. Then comes the documentation skills. It involves preparing clear, concise, written case narratives and reports. Then comes the educating skills, which means the ability of an individual so that he or she can teach the individuals, the family, for group therapy. Then comes the educating skills, which will be of use while teaching the individuals or family or during the group therapies. Then finally, to establish links with various other government and non-government organizations, advocacy and collaboration skills are very important. Now let us try to know about the prospects in this field. A wide scope prevails in the medical and the psychiatric settings in India. One can register and obtain license to start individual clinical practice. There is an ample exposure to get experience in different areas of health, mental health and addiction centers. It is a vast field where there is a lot of demand for qualified, trained and committed professionals. Demands keep on growing with the growing concerns of health issues, pandemic causing acute distress in the people's life that led to other psychosocial issues. Social workers have become indispensable members of the multidisciplinary team in medical and psychiatric settings, and invariably they are the first point of contact for any person or family seeking help, and most often the last person the patients meet while leaving the institution, such that they make a permanent impact in the patient's life. The social workers in the medical setup are there for the patient right from the point of intake till they are successfully rehabilitated. In the next unit, we will discuss about the role of the medical social workers further. But before that, let us try to know about the challenges faced by the medical social workers. Every profession has its own advantages, scope and benefits, as well as limitations, hurdles or challenges that one has to face in practice. Social work profession is not an exception, as they are required to directly relate to different nature of human beings on a daily basis. Medical and psychiatric social workers are required to face different issues because It is a service-oriented profession trying to alleviate the physical or the psychological concerns and problems of the clients. Medical and psychiatric work is a very demanding profession, requiring to provide intensive and holistic care to the people suffering from any severe, multifaceted mental and behavioral issues. However, it is seen that there is not much of recognition given to social workers in the multidisciplinary team. This is one of the issues faced by the medical social workers. Many times, despite having requisite training, psychiatric social workers are sidelined and all the clinical responsibilities are given to the clinical psychologists. Specific responsibilities are not aligned to them. This is because the psychiatrists and the general doctors heading the team most of the times are not sensitized or aware of the crucial role played by the social workers in the medical setup. As reported by many social workers, often they are given only assistive work like obtaining job cards for the patients, buying aids and appliances, etc. Though these are also essential aspects of the patient intervention, all their training and experience is not put to use in the clinical practice directly with the patients. Absence of professional body and regulatory body to intervene and address these issues allow this inequality to continue in many health settings. Sometimes linking patients with essential resources can be disappointing and frustrating. It is seen that stress and burnout is one of the recurrent challenges as social workers in both the health and psychiatric setup are continuously required to listen to patients and their families about their problems for long hours at a stretch. Demands of the work can be draining on the physical and the psychological state of the social workers too. Moreover, working with difficult patients with no signs of recovery or betterment or relapses can also be disturbing many times. In this context, self-care is vital for social workers to handle the stress and burnout, and they are required to have clear boundaries of personal and professional life. So dear learners, in this unit we have discussed some of the social work methods used in the mental health setup. Hope you all have understood. Now I would like to give you all an activity, and that is, please locate the nearest public health center and a private health center in your town, city, village or wherever you reside and check if any social worker is associated with these institutions. Also, discuss with them and write a note on the services that they have provided to the people who visited them in that health center. Thank you.